businesses and infuse their businesses with who we are. I see women creating businesses transmitting more freedom, more love, more joy of living, more goodness to our planet and humanity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anna. All the way from Sweden, sharing these beautiful words with us. A big round of applause for Anna. Next, I will invite Ms. Deepa Khanna. She's an entrepreneur from India to come up on stage and share some words with us. Let's hear from these speakers. You've had lunch. I've seen you. Let's get a big round of applause for everybody.
Thank you, Tanya. Good afternoon, everybody. And first of all, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers around here. While we're celebrating sisterhood, let's also celebrate motherhood. So, happy Mother's Day once again to everybody. When we talk about business opportunities, startups, how do we drive future? I think first is we need to identify opportunities that are there. By some of the research data that has come up, the millennial generation, current millennial generation, is about 700 million just in India. And if we talk about worldwide figures, it's going to be much higher. So we have the generation which talks fast, walks fast, thinks fast, and wants to do everything fast around themselves. So I think when we look at this kind of data, we need to have some tools available that can address the fragmented and complicated explosion of data that is all around us. We need to identify and address the issue of proper product solutions that is needed to solve any and every problem around us. We got to also look at some of the other opportunities which come up along with big data, with artificial intelligence, intuitive experience using augmented reality. New entrepreneurs and startups should have unique, groundbreaking, value-added solutions that will create value for money for every consumer and suppliers and business people. We have to build an economy which is going to be the support system for every human being on the earth. And that is what we got to drive from every human being that touches any kind of business. The journey of economics of product, from product to raw material, to experience, to emotional connect, every product that is got developed has to be so helpful in nature that can address the needs of any class, caste, creed, or anybody, right? So that is what I think these are the few things that can drive future. And lastly, I'm going to take some more time, Tanya. Lastly, I want to leave a thought with all of us here is, women are born enterprising, multitaskers, risk-taking and influencing in our own respective fields. We make people grow around us. So now is the time for all of us to identify, engage, evolve, and explore our inner strength to help women grow, to make the world and the new generation independent business women. At the same time, like yesterday, Mrs. Shaw said, and also Masunga said, we are awesome and we are the best normal people. So let's make the world a little more normal, right? So with this, I thank you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Khanna. Thank you for sharing such entrepreneurial words with us and giving us more strength to keep doing what we want to do. Next speaker I have Johanna Salgado. She is the CEO of 2K30. It's a startup for sustainability and renewable energy. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. My name is Johanna Salgado from Colombia. So I'm just one person from Latin America. I'm the entrepreneur woman for sustainability and renewable energy. But now I want to ask you who in this room has a smartphone? Put your hands up. Okay, everyone. So this is the reason, because the technology and innovation are the essential business and the startups help to create new ideas and solutions and help to stay on the topic of the innovation game in the marketplace. They have demand for the products and their consumption as the result of the new markets, like a collaborative economics, transportation like a Uber, domestic rates like a Airbnb, small jobs and fintech. This is the importance that have for the future economics and business have tools like data mining. They help to identify partners, establishing relationships to resolve the problem through the data analysis to the predictors the future of the market. So people and women that are staying here, we have to continue to motivate the women to the participation in this sector every day. Motivation and continuing study, innovation and generation and new technologies. Because we play a fundamental role in the development of the economic in this, and this is the only way to understand the future. So thank you, New Delhi, and thank you, the Women Economic Forum.
Thank you, Johanna, for being with us from 2K30 and supporting projects like sustainability and renewable energy. You know, being in that field is sometimes not so easy, and just learning about it. So I commend you for being in such a powerful field. Thank you. Next I have Ms. Nicky Marshall, international author, speaker, and mentor, founder of Discover Your Bounce Limited from the UK. A big round of applause for Nicky Marshall.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank Dr. Harbeen for making this event happen, for the Women Economic Forum and all the people that have helped us through this week, and also for the beautiful ladies and gentlemen that I've met this week. I love how everyone's so warm and welcoming. My mission is to eradicate stress and overwhelm globally. Just a really small mission. And there's a reason for that. On the 26th of July 2010, I was being rescued by the Coast Guard in the UK. I didn't know it at the time, but I was actually having a stroke and lost the use of half of my body. I had just turned 40, I had a 3-month-old business and 4 growing up teenagers, and I was well and truly stuck. I'm very pleased to say that 3 years later, I was completely fit and well, able to dive again, and able to create a new business that would help people in a similar situation, or those people that were struggling. The problem in business today is we live in a masculine, structured, very hard environment. We're told to work hard, we're told to strive, and that's exhausting. I think we need a new way. Did you know that stress is underneath 90% of the illnesses we suffer today? And if you have a team of 10 people and they're stressed, 8 of them can't concentrate. So that's 80% of your team not doing the things that they're there to do and they want to do. When we're in fear, we lose 60% of our brain's capacity to think. So when we're fearful, we make the wrong decisions because we don't fully take the time to decide. So when we have a mission, we have this global mission, and we say, I'm going to do this. And there's this little voice that talks to us and says, who are you to do that? You're not strong enough, clever enough, happy enough. You haven't got the right vision. But I say to you, who are you not to do that? The world needs you. So my solution is to live in an intuitive, feminine and flowing way. To love your life, every part of it. The good and the bad, they're all gifts. Just love them all. And to be inspirational, you need to be inspired. This event this week has been amazing, but who inspires you every day? Is there someone that you can turn to inspire you and to keep that passion alive? Our teenagers need a new way. They're told that they need to be employed, but actually they need to be entrepreneurial, even if they choose to be employed. So I'm asking you to be their guide today. And lastly, we talk about SMART goals, measurable goals. I would say to you, we have some heart goals. So every decision you make in business, make it a heartfelt decision. Make it an emotional decision. Make it speak to you, make it glow inside you, and that will keep you fired up and passionate. Be your authentic self. If something's not working, say. If life sucks, it sucks. 26th of July, 2010, my life sucked. It doesn't today, and I celebrate that. Be realistic and really accurate with your goals. We have a reticular activating system in our brain that looks for the things that we've decided is our vision. So be laser focused with your vision. And lastly, choose to thrive. Choose to do one thing every day that your future self will thank you for, because that energy will ripple, and you may not know, it may start very, very small, but eventually you'll create a global movement, and our children and our future generation will also thank us. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Nicky, for sharing those words. Being authentic to your business, being honest with your business is definitely the first thing to start. We should never think it would work when we don't. When we know if it doesn't, and if it doesn't, then make ways to make it work. So thank you for putting those words in our perspective. Our next speaker is. I actually would like to invite our speaker who's just come into the room. Take a moment to do that. Mr. Dheeraj Jain. He's the managing partner at Red Cliff Capital from India. So welcome, sir. With that, our next speaker is Stella Mellany, gender expert, lawyer, and social entrepreneur from Spain. Please come on stage.
Dear ladies, dear gentlemen, thank you very much for coming, especially also to the gentlemen attending this forum, because I believe that it's so important that we have men attending forums with women issues. So I'm very pleased to be here. It's been very inspiring for me. My name is Stella. I am a woman. I am young. And yes, I want to change the world. And there are a million ways of changing the world. My neighbor, for example, he's making the world a better place by making people smile. He's a professional clown. And for example, Apple maybe made the world somehow a better place by developing user-controlled computing. And we all are making the world a better place by coming together at this forum, sharing our experiences and sharing our ideas. But my personal recipe for changing the world is social entrepreneurship. And I have to confess that it has not always been in my recipe book. The first pages of this book are filled with just some little daily good actions. A second chapter of the book would be more about volunteering. And a third chapter is more about changing the world through philanthropy. But I got captured by social entrepreneurship when, while working for an international non-profit, I have been training and motivating young women entrepreneurs, especially in the Mediterranean region, for many, many years. And at the end, I wanted to start a business myself. But I didn't want to stop doing things with a social impact on a daily basis. So I thought, entrepreneurship, social impact, social entrepreneurship. And what kind of social impact is my business striving for? Well, it is about women's economic empowerment. So we are offering solutions, tailored solutions to organizations, private sector organizations, third sector and public sector organizations who want to support women's personal and professional development. And I think that women's economic empowerment is really about driving the future, because I'm sure that you know that helping women, providing women with opportunities and access to training, services, and economic opportunities, economically empowering them, is really making a change in the communities and in the societies. And yes, it is challenging. It's challenging because I have to overcome several obstacles as a woman entrepreneur and as a social entrepreneur. But I have a double motivation, which is my own personal empowerment and the empowerment of other women. And so to conclude, what I wanted to say is that the topic of this forum is women creating, innovating, understanding, and driving the future. And I believe that our natural resilience, together with our empathy and our entrepreneurial spirit, can really change the world. So thank you very much.
How beautifully she stands here and tells us she's a woman, you know, she's young, entrepreneurial. It's really beautiful to hear that, you know, being so confident within the skin and within whatever work you're doing out there. Congratulations. A big round of applause for Miss Mally. Next, I will have Tina Sundstrup. She is a graphic designer, entrepreneur, and change agent for sustainability from Denmark. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much. This is my first time in Women Economic Forum. I'm very pleased to be here, and yes, I'm a change. Okay, I'm a change agent for sustainability in that way that it's my focus in my business, and people come to me with questions and hiring me as a consultant, and I can see that women are the most changeable agents in sustainability. They really try to take the right choices. And I want to tell you a little story. I have collected a lot of different tools that make it easier for businesses to choose sustainability. And when I present print solution that is degradable and toxic free to a male CEO or a female CEO. There's a really huge difference in the way they respond. The male would typically respond to me, what is the disadvantages, and then I can assure him that there's none, and economic is the same. When I give the woman the same information, she'll say, oh, but that's a good idea, let's do this, immediately, and there's no hesitation. And I can see that in companies with women, things move faster. Women are faster. It's in their DNA to choose sustainability. So in my business, I try to enable and empower women, startup and entrepreneurs to make these choices in as many ways as possible. So I'm really pleased to be here, and a big thank you to all and to this organization. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Tina. She really means business, because in even her description, she's writing change agent for sustainability, you know. It's beautifully said. Thank you. Thank you, Tina, for being with us. I just want to ensure that we don't have our other speakers, so I'll say the names quickly, and if you're here, please come up to the front. Aarati Kumar, Live Little, Margaret Happy, Mellany Mariri, Selima Ahmad, Vineet Siwal, Xiomara Fambrough. So if you're here, please make your way to the stage. I will invite my next speaker to come up on stage. We have Charu Kumar. She is the founder for CK Designs, entrepreneur, engineer, and an actor. A big round of applause. Come on up. Just have a seat.
A very good afternoon to all of you. It's an amazing feeling to stand here and still feel and absorb the wonderful energy of all the empowering and very strong women gathered here. I thank Dr. Herbeen for establishing for such a platform where we all, like-minded women, can come together and share our experiences and get lots of motivation. I'm an engineer and an actor, a traveler, and I think lots of more things to do in this life. I believe in not living life long, but living life big. At the age of 23, I was a MTech computers, and it's not very, it's rare to find MTech engineers still. So I was, my first job was head of department in an engineering college. So I was heading a department where I had professors and lecturers who were in books under me, because there was a protocol that you need to have a MTech, people in your college to start engineering college or whatever. But I was given that position in engineering college. So it was a tough work for a 23-year-old girl to head a department who's a fresher and to deal with people who like 15, 20 years in experience in the respective fields. And they were not ready to accept me as their boss. I was given a good room and everything, and I was like, where am I? But yes, I faced a lot of problems. That was more of relationship problems. So one thing I learned that time was that whatever you are, you're a boss, you're a leader, you're an entrepreneur, you're an owner, you are never, nobody's working under you. Everybody's working with you. If you have this intention, you can grow leaps and bounds in whatever you do. That was the first learning I got. I took guidance from whoever there was, because I had to take guidance. and I never considered myself as boss. It was a very small and a very big learning I learned from my first job, where I literally survived for like 7 years, and our department was the most flourishing one later on. And I think that experience made me understand life in a better way. Now we talk about startups. Then I started, after that, there were a lot of other ventures I did. I worked with Miss Anita Malhotra, Shama Chona. It was an experience working these ladies again. As I was hearing yesterday from the co-founder of Yatra, that your boss or the person you're working with teaches you a lot of things. So I learned a lot of things from there. So when I talk about startup is no rocket science. Startup just means, as the word says, just start and get going. For opening a startup, you don't need a big workforce, you don't need a big office, you don't need to be a so-called genius to start up with something. I started a venture 4 years back, which was graphical designing, website designing, and we did really good, and we got good funding as well. But lately, I thought of doing something where I could relate with the normal population. So we started with CK Designs, which crafts scarves, customized scarves for people all over the world. So my aim was to just start up, just to sleep and follow your dreams the next morning. Give it a start. Start working on it. Don't worry that what will happen, how will it happen. Start making a move. Ideas will flow. God will help you. Opportunities will come. So in today's time, I think all these factors, like the gatherings like this, meeting with like-minded people, sharing your experiences, we think it is adding to our confidence, but believe you me, it is also adding to your work. You get ideas, you connect, and you grow in a big way. So I really thank all of you, and it's an honor for me to be on this podium today and share my experience with you. Thank you so very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Charu. I loved how you said nobody should be working under us. I think entrepreneurial minds are such that we don't think anybody works under us. I think we all work together to get somewhere. We all have our goals and we help each other. So thank you, Charu, for being on stage. Next speaker I have Mr. Dheeraj Jain. He's a managing partner at Redcliffe Capital, India. Welcome, Dheeraj.
It's a great pleasure to be among all of you. I'll give a little background of myself. So I've spent 10 years in Nokia in Scandinavia, New York and London, and then I did a leveraged buyout fund which was backed by Goldman Sachs when I was 28, and we did extremely well in that fund. And I came back to India in 2013 and kind of realized, listen, India is the largest consumption story in the world after China. What China was 10 years back is where India is right now. We are the youngest millennial country, and we'll have the 64% working population millennial by 2020. So it's an amazing opportunity in India to do something different, to drive the change, which everybody's been thinking about it, but nobody's actually really doing. And that's where we realized, listen, what has happened to the valley, Silicon Valley in 90s and 2000? I mean, that's the kind of sort of environment we need in India. So having a leveraged buyout fund, which is still running out of London in Redcliffe, I said, let me do something here in India, and we start looking various problems and what can we do in those, what kind of solution, what kind of companies can come in those kind of areas, and what we have right now. So we started in 2013, and 2017 now we got 32 companies in India, and all of them are doing amazingly well. For one reason, it's just we're just focusing on driving the change, and what we believe, we are backing entrepreneurs, and these entrepreneurs doesn't have to be IIT or IIM or any Ivy League, definitely doesn't have to be men, doesn't have to be, early 20s. It could be, people who have realized at some point of time that they have something in their mind and can do something different to the world. So what we did, we started with a company called Coho, which is co-living. In India, when the kid is thrown out of the house and asked to go to a different state and live somewhere, I don't think so we have a facility to accommodate someone which would require, you know, the Wi-Fi, the bed and washrooms and everything. So there's nothing in India of that kind. Back in the UK, it's a $13 billion industry which is called student accommodation. And we did a company called Coho, which today runs 1,000 beds around this hotel. And separate facility for females, separate for men. We looked something similar in pharmacy. India got 45% people in chronic illness, rest in acute. In the US, it's the other way around. We found these pharmacy guys obviously make a lot of money, and there's lots of doctor prescribing drugs, which is, they make commission on that. We said we want to get out of all of that, and we did a pilot in Jaipur with a company called Live Care. And we do chronic illness, subscription-based, 15% discount to the customer at home, auto-renewed every month, and whenever there's a renewal, the guy comes and checks the vital. Today we are the largest pharmacy in Jaipur, and we're the third largest in Delhi NCR. Our warehouse is, I don't know, it's just the size of this table. That's all the warehouse is. We back another company called YSG Cab. We realize, and this is where a lot of impact things happens. We realize there's lots of young guys who want to do something in life but would have no opportunity of the kind of what we get in metros. Probably they don't even have that kind of education background. They want to become car driver because of Uber and Ola and what's happening in India and globally. They go to the bank for a loan for their car. Bank rejects the loan because they don't have credit worthiness. We say, can we do something for these guys? Because these are good guys. They want to be driver. They have families. They have even kids. We go to the bank and say, give us a list of the rejected loan cases you have because they don't have credit worthiness. We call these guys, do a large campaign, select 50% of them, give them a car at a 25,000, which is 300 pounds, an equivalent GBP currency as an upfront fee, and we give them a car. They drive the car for 3 months, and they're sincere guys, so they do it very well. We have a technology, we can trace their behavior, car behavior. They get demand from Ola, Uber, and private. And after 3 months, we take another 25,000 and say, you drive the car belongs to you. They go to the home and tell their wife, look, I got a job. They tell the kids, look, we got a car. And think about the emotion the family goes through. Today we run 2,000 cars in all over India. These guys who have with us for the last 2 years, their wives said, we want to do some business as well. Can you get us a loan? So we start giving loans to their wives. Next year, they said, we want to put the kid into a better school. Can you give a loan for that? So we start picking people who would be rejected by everyone else and still have a high potential and can do some business. So we built up a business around that and see the impact this have in the ecosystem, in the society. SoftBank, when Masa, he came to India last year, he wanted to visit only a couple of companies, and this was one of them. I think India is just going to an inflection point. I mean, there's so much happening globally, and even if you just do a nice copy-paste of that in India, it's such a massive opportunity. Out of these 32 portfolio companies, every single company is a winner. One of the companies actually here in this conference, a company called PSafe. We realize female hygiene is a very, very big business. If you look Procter & Gamble, the dividend they pay back to their shareholder this year has come only from a hygiene business. So from Whispers to Pampers and all of these brands. So we found, India, the UTI problem, or everywhere globally there's a UTI problem, but India, the washrooms are really, really bad. And there's nobody have actually done anything on the toilet seats. They have gone in the toilet seats and, Harpics and all these Mr. Muscles and all of their brand. So we found, let's bring a product and let's build up a brand which helps, sanitizing the washroom or sanitizing the seat, which is different from cleaning the seat. And I can tell you, within 4 months, we have sold 100,000 of these 100,000 of these units. We're selling in 10 different countries. I got global investor knocking our door and want to pick up equity in this company. And simple brand, simple product, came out of a problem and doing extremely well. So my point is, you don't have to really think too much. I mean, you don't have to come back with something very, very fancy and sophisticated. I mean, even if you find a problem and you know what the solution, it could be technology enabled. So in our pharmacy business, there's no technology. You know, we do door-to-door marketing. We give pharmacy, chronic illness door-to-door. In our car business, there is a technology, but there's no technology required to do what we are doing. I think India is still, you know, we don't have to compare ourselves to the West all the time. We still have massive, massive opportunity. There's large consumption story. If you know the problem, you can find a solution. There's so many people to back you. I'm just one of them. I mean, there's people who are more advanced in terms of investment philosophy. They're much larger fund. This is the time to do what you want to do in your life. And it doesn't matter if you are, you know, as I said, whatever degree you have, whatever background you have, this is the perfect time. We got political stability. Foreign investors are absolutely excited about India. They're so excited there's nothing to buy in India. That's why they're putting money in the stock market. You see the stock market reach all-time high yesterday. So absolutely amazing time. And you know, I'm very happy to sort of support in whatever capacity, you know, whatever we can do. But this is absolutely great time. So welcome to India 2.0 or New India. Amazing time. Thank you very much.
When we're told no is when we start to search and we ask why. So thank you for giving us an answer. Success can be discovered in small things. I love the ideas that you've shared with us. I'm sure it's opened up our mind to other platforms as well. So thank you, Dheeraj, for being with us. I will invite our next guest to come up on stage, Vineet Siwal. She is the Liaison Secretary, Green Earth Patron Foundation. She is from New Delhi, India.
Hi friends, myself Vineet Siwal. I actually do the charity work and the social work and based in Delhi, India. Today I have to speak over the startup and the business, or say the journey that we faced when we start our new business. So first I would like to know that how many of us think or started their business any moment of their life till now? Any one of you? So many? Okay. Actually, I started my business when I was, I say very early in the age. My first startup I did when I was in the standard 3rd. Yes. Because startup means doing business, taking things, giving things. So my startup is something like that. I start, you know, supplying homemade cosmetics to my friends. And that was a very boom. I'm mentioning this because that was my first successful ventures that I did with my friends. But as soon as I start growing, as soon as I start learning the marketing skills, my next venture is at the age of 17. That is a playway school. That was another successful venture of me. The difference is that I was not fear of the failure. I focused on the quality because I think that in my, I belong to a middle town and there was no school or no center where the grooming part is taking care of the kids. So I focus on the requirement. I open up a school and within few months it was, you know, houseful for me. And I was running it successfully for many years, like 10 and 12 years. Then I got married. And at the age of 21, I was in the competitive market. Now the things start falling. Because when I start my venture, being in a family, being in a responsible person, the fear takes place. The fear of the failure takes place. So whenever I start my new venture, my question arises that how I'm going to do this. But before that, I never thought about how. I think why I'm doing this. So when the why changes to how, and here the failure arises in my main venture of my career, I try to sustain it for a few years, but eventually I give up. It was, I'm not saying that everybody is going to fail, but I'm sharing my failure stories because this is something that we lack in making our business successful. So first thing I would like to mention, if you are going to do any business or any startup, do not fear that how it is going to be. Just start your thought, working over it, and things will fall towards the successful story. Startup is actually a new term that we start using for last few years. But if I say it's actually the business, but the difference is business terms come with the liability. It comes with the fear. It comes with the fear of success. But when we mention the startup, so people start taking it lightly. Okay, it's just a startup. So the liability part, the fear part is not so much in the startup. But I would rather say that your mental harmony for the business must not ready for the startup. Because if you are in that comfort zone that, okay, you are working over a startup, whether it will fail or not, you are looking for the investors, here comes your first ditch that is going to be a big hurdle for your success. So I would rather say start your business, not the startup, and then pitch for your investor. It's a very decent suggestion from an entrepreneur of 14 years experience. Right now, I'm working for the charity. I am also looking for care of few ad agencies and all as my company or as my startup. But I never take business as a startup because it's give you a mental relief and it takes the fear away from you, which you need to be a successful, which you need to prepare a plan to pitch a competitive market. So my only suggestion is that stay away from the fear. Think that how you're going to execute. Never think that why you are going to be in that route for the success or the failure. Just focus on the right business stream. Focus on the quality. Focus on the customer. Do not think that you are going to earn money out of it. Create the relation with the client and the customer for the longer thing. Once you create the relation, they will come back to you. But once you just think the monetary part with them, they will never revert to you. So it's something like that. You have to be a businessman with a vision of 10 years ahead. Do not target the monetary benefit and stay away from the fear. So I think this is the driving policy of the business and the startup in every stream, whether you are doing the social work, teacher, you are doing your shop kind of business, or you are doing a company, you are running a company or anything. But stay focused and do not forget to create the relations that is going to be a part of your journey. Second suggestion, I would rather say that take care of the company. As the old saying that when you sit or when you spend time with the pupils, you start becoming like that. So my second suggestion is that always take care that with whom you are going to spend your time. If you are doing a startup and you are giving your time to the people who are not focused in their career, definitely you are not going to boom. So my second and the main suggestion is take care with your circle, that what circle you are choosing to spend your time with. That is going to create your longer vision. That is going to be, give you a proper prospects, because according to their vision, your vision is going to be created and it is going to be focused more. Third thing that every startup need to be think is, do not focus on the investor. I have seen many startups, the first question arises, where will we get the page, where will we get the investor to invest? Focus on your quality, focus on your outcome, focus on the longer vision of the business. Investor will definitely pitch you. You need not to pitch him. So if you have a proper vision and the dedicated team, the investor will definitely take interest in you. But once the investor get to know that, okay, you are doing the startup, but you are not so much focused, then definitely you are going to fill any requirement of any investor. So profit making is a part of investor, but you need to be focused in your business, in your startup for that. And I think these are the few things that you need to take care in the initial year of any business and the startup. And I think nothing can stop you, because when you start working on your dreams, things will fall. Okay, thank you.
Thank you so much, Vineet. Thank you, Vineet. 3 things that I picked up was, don't be afraid of failure. I mean, if you're already starting a business, how can you be afraid of failure? You're already one step ahead. Take care of your company. That is really beautifully said, because you need to spend time. You need to spend time with your business, conduct the right kind of business with the people that are interested in you, and don't look for the investor. Let the investor look for you. So big round of applause for giving us such Positive motivation. With that, I will conclude our session for this afternoon. I will invite Dr. Harbeen Arora to join us and present the Iconic Leader Creating Better World for All awards to all our awardees. Thank you. I will invite the first guest to come up, Anna Aberg, CEO at Anna Aberg Groups from Sweden. A big round of applause for Anna. Next, we have Deepa Khanna, entrepreneur from India. Let's hear for these guys. Let's give them a big round of applause. Next, I will invite Mr. Dheeraj Jain, managing partner at Redcliffe Capital. Thank you for being with us this afternoon. Next, I would like to invite Ms. Nicky Marshall, international author, speaker, a mentor, founder and Discover Your Bounce Limited from the UK. Next, I would like to invite Stella Mellany, gender expert, lawyer, social entrepreneur from Spain. Next, I would like to invite Tina Sundstrup, graphic designer, entrepreneur, a change agent for sustainability from Denmark. A big round of applause for Tina. Next, if I can get up on stage, Vineet Siwal. She's the Liaison Secretary, Green Earth Patron Foundation from Delhi. Yeah. Then we'll do Charu, and Johanna. I would like to now invite Charu Kumar to come up on stage. She's the founder for CK Designs, entrepreneur, engineer, and an actor. Next, I would like to invite Johanna Salgado. She's the CEO of 2K30 startup for sustainability and renewable energy. A big round of applause for these ladies and gentlemen. Let's get up for a group picture with our global chair. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. We will start our next session at 2:15, or rather say 2 o'clock. Wonderful. Is it 2 now? Is it 2? Wonderful. So we will go into the next session right away. We have In Conversation with leading personalities in finance and public life and awards. So just give us a couple of minutes to settle in, and we will start our next session right away. Thank you. Thank you, sir. How are you doing?
Ladies and ladies, I want to announce that all the photos that we've been, do you want to say something? The photos that we are sharing on Facebook and on social media, use our hashtags, use WEF 2017, use WEF Delhi 2017, hashtag Shakti Bandhan, and please share these photos. Our handle is Women Eco Forum. So let's create a buzz. I mean, we've got the buzz happening here. Let's make it happen online, virtually.
And please be around. We are starting in the next 10 minutes a very special session
we have the Secretary of State for European Affairs from Portugal, representing the European Union, and has some very fascinating aspects to share for women entrepreneurs vis-a-vis the European Union. We have the Minister for Information Technology, Biotechnology and Tourism coming from the state of Karnataka, seated in Bangalore, the seat of innovation, the innovation capital of India. And they've done something tremendous, inviting women entrepreneurs. They've got a special fund for it. So lots of exciting things, plus a range of speakers we've got from Tunisia and other places. So please stay around, grab your cup of coffee and come inside. We are beginning in the next 5 minutes.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Please help me in welcoming the Honorable Minister of the State for Tourism, Information Technology and Biotechnology, Government of Karnataka, Mr. Priyank Kharge. So please come on the stage. He's being escorted by Mr. Bharatlal Meena. We welcome you on the stage. Please put your hands together. I will also mention here that Sir is the youngest minister in the Karnataka cabinet. We welcome you, sir, the youngest minister in the Karnataka cabinet. It's also very noteworthy to mention that at the Women's Day celebrations recently, the minister announced a 10 crore rupee fund for women entrepreneurs. Let's give him a warm round of applause. A very special session in conversation with the Honorable Minister. Harbeen, over to you.
It's an absolute pleasure to have with us today the youngest minister in the cabinet, in the government of Karnataka, the Minister for Information Technology, Biotechnology and Tourism, Mr. Priyank Kharge. Ladies and some gentlemen, please extend a warm round of applause to welcome the minister who's taken time out to spend time with all of us to encourage and empower. Thank you so much, sir, for being here with us. In his capacity as IT Minister and also biotechnology, he has taken tremendous initiatives to encourage startups in the startup capital of the country and, of course, driving the Silicon Valley in many ways. In Bangalore, empowering agri-tech startups, technology startups that are creating solutions for our daily issues. He's also created, like Mansi just shared with you, almost a $2 million fund exclusively for women startups. And I'm sure many of you who have come from different countries looking at opportunities in India to work with your startups will find an open-hearted and open-armed welcome from the state of Karnataka. The man who moves and shakes the state of startups in Karnataka is here himself. I take this opportunity to invite Mr. Kharge on the podium and address us all. Mr. Priyank Kharge, please.
Dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, and of course, my very esteemed senior from the government, Shri Bharatlal Meenaji. It's a very pleasant surprise to see you here, sir. It's my pleasure and privilege to be here at the Women's Economic Forum that has been leading the way for women empowerment across all verticals. So the Margaret Thatcher, the former British PM, once said, if you want something said, ask a man. But if you want something done, ask a woman. And I completely agree with this statement because I experience this practically every day of my life. The first few years, my mother got things done for me. And then it was my sisters and mother. And then some unfortunate lady got married to me. So then it was my mother, sisters, and my wife who got things done for me. So domestically, I'm very, very, very dependent on them. And if you thought it was just limited to that, and I'm sure Sri Bharatlal Meenaji knows this as well. Officially also my dependence is very heavy on ladies. So until a month back, my additional chief secretary was Miss V. Manjula, who has been one of the technically most sound persons I've known, and a very progressive lady, and who is actually helped me, a first-time minister, understand the department as quickly as I'm perceived to have understood it. And until recently, I also had the IT director, another lady, Ms. Tanushree Datta, who's been instrumental in all the startup accolades that you gave me right now, was actually a part of their brainchild as well. And she's been replaced by another lady, that is Ms. Salma, who's doing a tremendous job out of it. And I'm in charge of a district as a minister, a place called, a remote district called Yadgiri, where the DC is a lady, Ms. Khushbu Goyal, and she is serving right now in one of the most backward regions of the country, I would say, and she's doing a great job, fantastic job for me over there. And my CEO of Kalburgi, from where I'm elected, is also a lady, Ms. Hebsheba, one of the most hands-on CEO I've ever seen. She's one of the few ladies I've seen, or few officers I've seen who goes and sits in a social welfare hostel and spends a night there as well. So, if you're actually thinking that I'm efficient, actually it's these women who are with me and behind me who make me efficient. So the real acknowledgement and the accolades should actually go to them and not to me. And just when you thought it was not domestically and officially, I am very dependent on these wonderful ladies. Even politically, I am inspired and driven by Mrs. Sonia Gandhi. So everywhere you see, I have women driving me what I want, driving my agenda for me. But let me try to tell you what government of Karnataka is doing to push women entrepreneurship to the next level. I mean, I think everybody agrees over here that entrepreneurship is actually a very, very challenging job, but it's also a very rewarding job nonetheless. And it comes with its fair share of tasks and challenges. And sorry. So how is it that we are encouraging women entrepreneurship in Karnataka is the most important thing. Firstly and most obvious thing is that the entrepreneurs will need an idea. Secondly, you will need financing for the idea. You will need a great team who will back your idea and will work with you. You will need validation of your idea. Then you have to deal with the unknown factors of how long the idea will last, finding customers. Will the customers like your idea and will the idea really pay off? The other major and the most annoying challenge for women entrepreneurs is to stay on course and be focused, as you have so many people advising you because you're a woman entrepreneur. More importantly, in the Indian scenario, giving up your domestic life for a career itself is considered suicidal for women. And giving up a steady income, a promising earning, and your domestic life for being an entrepreneur, for which is very unpredictable, is something considered even more suicidal. So don't be alarmed, because I'm not trying to discourage you from being an entrepreneur. I'm just trying to tell you how we can help you with this. And I think the government of Karnataka and Bengaluru has always been an ideal ground for aspiring women and women entrepreneurs across all verticals. The reason for so many women who are turning towards entrepreneurship is today because of the fact that our state has always provided a conducive environment for women to aspire and ideate. We provide an ecosystem where women are important cog in the gears that drive the state's fortune in entrepreneurship. One of the very important facets of our entrepreneurship program is the startup policy, which gives entrepreneurs the much needed encouragement for ideation, which is very essential for innovation, invention, and investments. If we did not have the ecosystem for ideation or the environment for ideation, Bengaluru would not have been a home to close to around 7,000 odd startups, out of which if my stats are right, more than 25 to 30% of them are women entrepreneurs here. And probably we are the only state in the country to recognize ideation as the most basic parameter for innovation and invention, and actually fund this ideation. And in order to ensure that innovation is bred at the bottom of the pyramid, we have a lot of incubation centers along with private partnership as well. We have close to around 600 to 700 seats across our 4 incubators in the state, out of which 20% of them are reserved for women entrepreneurs. So that again is a first in the country. One of the most important facets of the multi-sector startup policy which I'm harping upon is the idea to POC fund. You know, this is probably, like I said, the only country or the only state in the country that actually has a grant for an idea. So if you have an idea and you think that idea is going to be disruptive or creatively engage the vertical, the government of Karnataka helps you with a grant of up to 50 lakhs. So when was the last time that you heard a government saying that if you have an idea, come to us, we will help you develop a proof of concept, and we will also give you money and not take an equity in that. So that, I think, is one of the most important aspects of our multi-sector policy. And I think because of this, we are able to deliver, or we are able to have many startups, as we are. Right now we are ranked close to, I think if my figures are right, we are ranked 13 in the world ecosystem, and I'm sure the way we are going ahead, we will be ranked in the top 10 in probably less than a year. In the last 3 months alone, we have funded close to around 25 to 30 crores for startups in biotechnology and IT. So, and what is differentiating us from the rest is that most of the women most of the entrepreneurs that we have invested in are women. And especially in the biotech sector, I've seen that it is very encouraging to see so many women in that. Because when we have this idea to POC committee, I sit in them. And there's this lady who does, who's an aerospace engineer, who's given up her career to start doing something on her own. And what she's trying to do is something so disruptive and so futuristic that even we don't know whether we're actually funding the right technology here. She wants to set up broadband or set up internet, deliver internet or bandwidth through space using some satellites. I mean, I think half of them said yes to it because we didn't understand what the technology was. But the point is, of course, we had some people in the committee who were aware of what was happening. At least I didn't understand that. But the point is, we are focusing heavily on emerging technologies. So when I had the Center of Excellence for Cyberspace announced, we have women entrepreneurs from EY come and help us in cybersecurity. When I announced, when we came up with a 288 crore Center of Excellence for aerospace announced, and it's starting in June, we have a lady who is heading the DASU team and the French team with the government of Karnataka. We are also coming up with a Center of Excellence for big data, artificial intelligence, as well as machine learning. And you believe it or not, the IBM head, who is country head, who's again a lady, is the one who's leading it. So the point I'm trying to make is, even though we are talking about emerging technologies and anything under the sun, and I don't know whether it's me or whether you people are really everywhere. So only I'm noticing it. So we have also, the government of Karnataka has also encouraged women entrepreneurship, and have hosted the biggest women entrepreneurship summit. I'm not sure how many of you have heard of Think Big. And recently our state was awarded as the best state for women entrepreneurship in the world. So we have, so you really don't have to believe me because I'm in the cabinet. We have been awarded this, we've been felicitated and awarded this in Washington, D.C. It is not, it's not happened here in our backyard. But the point I'm trying to make is that we have always been a progressive state. We have always been a progressive government who have a progressive policy also. In fact, I'm just talking about startups, but even in the industrial policy, we are the first state to announce a women's industrial park. You know, we have an industrial park where MSMEs, SMEs, or big industries who are being led by women entrepreneurs can set up shop over there at subsidized prices. So it is just not social security that we are giving, we are looking at, because when you see the government schemes, we are very tuned to giving them social security aspect, but our government is also looking at socio-economic security aspect, which is a very important and very important component if you're really serious about women being developed in the coming up in the society. And I think lastly, I think feminism isn't about making women strong. You know, a lot of people think that by drawing up such policies or by talking about feminism, they make women strong. But I am of the opinion that feminism isn't about making women strong. Women are already strong. It's about changing the way the world perceives that strength. And time and again, you have shown the spirit of entrepreneurship through your resolve and determination. Imagine if Karnataka did not have Kiran Mazumdar Shaw, Dr. Kamini, Ms. Srividya of Amagi, or Ms. Richa of Zimbabwe, Ms. Meena of Proti, among a host others. I'm sure that many of you here are inspiring other men and women to be entrepreneurs as well. Community by the degree of progress which women have achieved. So I think women should stop saying we can do anything that men can do, but men should be saying we can do anything that women can do. There are a lot of challenges for a working woman, such as maintaining work and life balance, equal pay, harassment at work, constant discouragement at workplaces, gender bias, amongst a host of other things. And all this can be overcome only when the government, the policies, as well as the corporates realize this and take this up as priority and take this up as serious issues. Although there are a lot of laws, although there are a lot of policies, it still needs to be they say that paper has a lot of patience. So what is written on paper stays on paper until and unless we act upon it. And I think it is time that we all look at that, especially from the government policies perspective or from the corporate policy perspective, that we need to ensure that these things are actually put down in practice in its true letter and spirit. But I'd like to end by saying that in spite of all these challenges, you all continue to inspire us, and I'm happy to support you all as much as I can in an endeavor to be an entrepreneur, as long as you're registered or your company is registered with the state. So as you know that I'm the minister only for Karnataka and not the rest of India, but I'm more than happy to support anyone, any place with your idea validation maybe, or with your women entrepreneurship skills maybe you need some mentoring, maybe you need some idea to POC grant, anything that would be within the legal framework of my policy, I'll be more than happy to support you. And thank you so much for having me over. Stay inspired. Thank you.
I would like to thank Honorable Minister. We have our university in Bangalore, and I can vouch for the fact that it's one of the most open-minded, open-hearted, state where whatever, if you have an idea, nothing's going to stop you, and the government is going to enable you. So that award that you got for being the best state globally by the We Connect in Washington, D.C. is very well deserved, and I have personally experienced the power of the ecosystem. And he also says two things which I'd like to share, is that not only do you need money, you also need mentoring. So I think at a forum like this, we have so much capacity for mentoring. We've got a lot of young students from schools and colleges also attending here. So that part is also being taken care of. And the second thing he says in a lighter vein, don't worry about the risk in your businesses. The risk in my industry of in politics is much greater than yours. So go for it. At this moment, I take the opportunity to welcome our very honorable guest of honor here, Honorable Secretary of State for European Affairs from Portugal.
Also inviting on stage His Excellency Ambassador of Portugal. Please, sir, join us on stage.
I'd like to also extend a warm welcome to His Excellency Ambassador of Portugal to India. Thank you, sir, for being with us. Mansi.
With that, as the guest of honor, it's my absolute privilege to invite and share her views with us. I invite Secretary of State for European Affairs from Portugal, Ma'am Margarida Marques. Please do address us and inspire us, ma'am. It's an honor to have you amongst us.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for the invitation to be here and to share with you some of my experience, my personal experience, my personal life. And maybe it's when I look to your program, I found that it was very interesting, very diversified. It means you have a lot of participants coming from political life, from economical life, from scientific life, and so on. So it's a very good moment to put together different experience. And it's why I took some notes on my own life and also to share with you how I put together my personal family life and also political life. And so, when I look behind me, I'm happy. I did a lot. Enough? No, not enough. I was in university when the revolution in Portugal happened. It means 25th April 1974. The army made a coup without confrontation, without blood. We replaced former political leaders, the dictator or the dictators, in a very swift way. Some of them went to exile, president, prime minister, some ministers, some heads of economic groups, others to prison. We called to our revolution the revolution of the carnations, because militaries walked the streets with red carnations coming out from their arms and their tanks. At the time, we lived on the streets, demonstrations, meetings, and working to create political organizations. In times of dictatorship, political organizations were forbidden. Only Communist Party was a strong organization with their leaders living abroad or on clandestinely. Socialist Party, my party, was starting with a founder congress that had took place in 1973 in Germany with Mario Schwarz. But on what concerns political organizations, everything had to be done from scratch. I worked a lot on it. I was a founder of Socialist Youth Organization and since the beginning a member of the National Political Secretariat. But I was 20 years old and at the university. So it means that I needed to go many times directly from overnight meetings to the university classes. I did it always, and I could finalize my degree at university in due time. First challenge for our country, to create a democratic system based in the respect of citizen rights and the rule of law, to realize democratic elections, to adopt a democratic constitution in the democratically elected parliament. I'm speaking about 1974. We did it. Second challenge, to reinforce democratic system, to promote local and regional development. We did it by acceding to the European Union in 1986. Meanwhile, I was elected Secretary General of Youth Socialist Organization in 1981, the first woman with this job. And I had been elected member of the National Parliament for the legislature that finalized the negotiations of Portugal's accession to the European Union. In the next elections, my party had a huge defeat, being candidate placed in the middle of Lisbon electoral cycle list. I was not elected. So, I decided to invest definitively more in my professional career. I was 28, my daughter 13, my son 8. I didn't want, never, to be dependent from the political life, from my political party. I didn't want to be a woman of the party's nomenclature. I have, and I like to be, still today as a member of the government, what it's not always easy. I like to be an independent mind. I like to think and to express my voice by myself. And I was very enthusiastic and committed on education policies. Maybe because I was a former leader of a youth organization and committed on European policies. For my generation in Portugal, after 5th European Commission, always with the support of my family, without whom I couldn't have progressed in my professional and political career. Where? At the DG Education and Culture in the European Commission. My ambitions as a public official of the European Commission. First one, to agree at European level on European targets for education and training. Second, to share good practices between member states. Third one, to put schools from different member states working together on common educative projects, creating schools networks. And also to promote mobility of pupils, students, and teachers. My political sensibility was always there. Later, I moved to the European Commission representation in my country, in Portugal. First as press officer, after as a head of representation. As former member of the parliament, in a small country like Portugal, I knew everybody. A very Portuguese word, translated in English. I did my job, explaining Europe, debating European policies, listening to citizens, promoting debates and communication actions and programs with national parliaments, ministers, press, universities, social partners, both sides, NGOs, at national, but also at regional and local level. My political ADN still always there. At the end of my mandate, I returned to Brussels, to DG Communication at the European Commission. We were in 2011. Very committed in European policies. I used to be, and still I am, an enthusiast, but also a critical of the European Union. 30 years after I left political life, in 2015, the now Portuguese Prime Minister, António Costa, also an Europeist like me, invited me to return to an active political life, to become head of my electoral circle list for national elections. By the way, I had met António Costa, the Portuguese Prime Minister, when he started his political life in Socialist Youth Organization. He was 14, I was 20 by the time. I was elected member of the National Parliament. When António Costa became Prime Minister, he invited me to become his Secretary of State for European Affairs, 1 year after and a half a year ago. To move from one hat, an European Commission official, to another hat, member of a national government working and negotiation directly with the European Commission is a huge challenge. I have advantages, I know. I have a deep knowledge of the European affairs and institutions. I know the House and the decision-making process, all of it formal and informal. I have good networks, but I have challenges. To defend the interests of my country near European Union, but also to conciliate national political ambitions with European constructions. But I have an excellent team, and until now, you know, when we are a member of a government, you can't stop down on the day after. I feel that I am delivering. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for addressing us and sharing your thoughts. Of course, we are also planning to do a regional Women Economic Forum in Lisbon in October this year. And we also have from India a female ambassador, Nandini Singla, posted in Lisbon. So it's a great connection as well. And your Prime Minister had also visited India at the Pravasi Bharatiya Divas, which was for the Indian diaspora. He was the chief guest. And of course, Minister from Karnataka is also here. And he had also spoken about his India connection from his family, because there are a lot of people of Indian origin because of the Portugal-Goa connection in Portugal. So I think your coming here is very significant. We will be coming there, and I hope to deepening our relations very much. Thank you so much for having come over here. Mansi?
Thank you so much for enriching us, ma'am, and for our Indian minister counterpart for also sharing his views with us. And as a mark of our gratitude, we'd like to offer you a little token of our love and thanks. And we'd like to, I'd like to honor our minister, Mr. Priyank M. Kharge, as the iconic leader of the decade in public life. Thank you so much for being with us today, sir. And with that, I'd like to call on Ms. Margarida Marques, the Secretary of State for European Affairs from Portugal, to step up and accept the honor on behalf of WEF 2017 as the Woman of the Decade in Public Life. Thank you so much for being here with us, ma'am. I also request the Ambassador of Portugal to India, His Excellency, to please share a few words with us.
Thank you very much. I was not expecting to,
Yes, we know
to be
you
called
weren't.
to speak.
Sorry.
But now I'm very, very happy to be here and to be here accompanying the Secretary of State for European Affairs. We have quite a big deal of women in our government, in our public administration, in our parliament, and the Secretary of State represents those women that in Portugal have been being a very, very important part of our democracy, of our regime, I'm very happy that she could share today a life, a public life, and a private life with us today. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, and we really do understand what a deep honor it's been to have ma'am come all the way from Portugal and be with us. It's been absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you. Could I request everyone on the dais to please step up for a group photograph so we can archive this forever? Thank you. And I'm so excited to inform you that the WEF Portuguese version is taking place at Lisbon in the October 15th and 16th, 2017. So if any of you happen to be in Lisbon for those dates, no, make yourself be in Portugal for those dates, and we'll continue this beautiful dialogue and love sharing there. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. It was an absolute honor to hear you speak. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you, sir. You were very, very good. Without further ado, we'd like to continue our conversation. We're in conversation with leading personalities in finance and public life from the world over. You will see we have a beautifully diverse panel, and I would like to welcome on stage our first guest here, who has joined us from the US of A, Ms. Carrie Carbonaro, a finance expert from USA. Let's give her a warm round of applause. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together. Let's make this happen.
Just first.
Yeah, you just first. Could I request Mr. Ayaz Jha to join us? CMD Power Grid from India. Lisa Robbins. Bothina Ben Yahlane from Tunisia. She's the Chief Executive Director of, excuse my French, Kasi de Depot El Consignations. The company name. You tell me. The name of the company. How do you say it? Oh, thank you. So she is the Chief Executive Director of an investment fund coming from Tunisia. Let's welcome her. Padmaja Ruparel, do we have you? The president of Indian Angel Network from India. Susanne Swanikar Tete, Welcome, Susanne. She's the Chief Financial Officer of Okavango Diamond Company coming from Botswana. Do we have with us Riitta Palmen? Yes, we do. Yes, we do. And her beautiful colors. An investment manager and founding partner of Palmen and Champetier from Finland. A very warm welcome to you, Riitta. Warm welcome. Warm welcome. Thank you. Our Italians, they're the only ones awake. Requesting for I.S. Jha to join us on stage, please. I.S. Jha. Padmaja Ruparel. Perfect. So with that, we'd like to initiate this very interesting discussion ahead. We're in conversation with leading personalities in finance and public life. So I'd like to invite on stage to speak with us. First and foremost, looking at you. Oh, I go first. Would you like to? Sure. Beautiful. Welcoming Carrie Carbonaro, finance expert from USA, to set us on fire.
Thank you. Welcome, everyone. There's not that many of us, but that's okay. It's after lunch. So I know she called me a finance expert, and she said I'm from the USA, but if you can't tell, I'm from New York. So that makes me different than just from the United States, because we think we're the center of the universe. Sorry. It's just a New York thing. So what I do is, the reason that I get up out of bed every morning and what drives me is the lack of financial literacy for women and the pay-wage gap. We have serious economic issues in the United States and the world that makes women not on par with men. So in my day job, which she actually just called me a personal finance expert, but she didn't say exactly what I did. So that's okay. I'm a managing director and partner for the 4th largest registered investment advisor in the United States called United Capital. I manage $150 million personally, and my firm manages $20 billion. So that's my day job. Then I also wear lots of other hats. I'm the author of a book called The Money Queen's Guide for Women Who Want to Build Wealth and Banish Fear. Again, because financial literacy for women is what keeps me up at night. I also am a speaker, which I travel all over the world on this exact subject. How many women here feel like they need more money? Really? Only a couple of you? You're lying if it's not. It's okay. So I think the issue for women is literacy and financial literacy, which is not taught. It's not taught in schools. If you're lucky, I know in India it's taught by the parents. How many of you guys learned financial literacy from your parents? That's good. That's pretty good. Well, we are at the Women's Economic Forum, so I would think that most people here are even above average when it comes to financial literacy. Also, you know, we have all these issues with the pay-wage gap. How many people here think that they're paid fairly? Anybody? Okay, we got a couple. So I thought that I was paid fairly as well, and I thought there's no way that I am subject to the gap. I'm at the top of my profession. I just won an award in the United States for the top 20 women in the profession. And I said, there's no way that I'm underpaid. And then I did this test from Motto, which is if you were a man, what would you make? And I did it, and I would make 90% more if I was a man. Wow. That is a lot. So, with that, I challenge all of you to be a part of the solution. And one of the things that I'm a big believer in is the hashtag Be Bold for Change. So, you know, the big fearless girl, does everybody here know what the fearless girl is? No? There's a lot of no's. Oh my gosh. Okay, so the fearless girl is the new statue that looks like this. It's juxtaposition the bull, downtown Wall Street. It was put up March 8th, International Women's Day, by State Street Global Advisors. They put it up because they wanted to challenge the gender diversity issue. They also have a gender diversity index where you can invest in companies that have higher proportion of women on boards and higher proportion of women in senior management. The index is called SHE, S-H-E. I'm not doing a commercial for them. I just love the whole meaning behind the fearless girl. So one of the things is she's staying right now for one more year if you want to visit her in the United States. We're hoping that she stays longer. It's a fight right now. The mayor, Bill de Blasio, is saying that they want her to stay, and we hope she stays. This is kind of funny, but the person who is the original, I guess, artist of the bull is challenging it and saying that it's ruining his work. So, if you want to be part of that movement, another movement that I believe in, the hashtag is Be Bold for Change and Keep the Fearless Girl. So all I can say is I hope that you guys be a force for change, because we need all of us, and together we can change the world. Thank you. Oh, and if you want, my session is next on money and feminism at 3:30. Thank you.
We want the next session. We want to hear much more from you. What a beautiful start to this session, like a little power dose. With that, I'd like to call on Ma'am Buthina Ben Yahlani. Please forgive my Tunisian French. And she's going to address us in French and in English, beautiful. Yeah. Because we do have a French translator. Our Queen Bee.
No need.
No need. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I would like to thank so much Dr. Harbin for giving me an opportunity to be a part of Women Economic Forum and to meet you, to meet all positive women and men. My name is Buthina Ben Yahlani. I am a doctor on Management Information System and a full professor at University of Carthage. Now, I'm CEO of the main public investment fund in Tunisia, the CDC, in charge of long-term investments in Tunisia. A first woman leading this kind of the fund in the world. Prior to this, I was State Secretary to the Finance Ministry in Tunisia, and I was elected in the last legislative election as a deputy in the parliament. In 2011, I co-founded a women civil society, Tunisiette. It means a plural of one Tunisian woman. I am married and I have 3 children.
Well, so far, I came from Tunisia, a small but very, very beautiful country located in the north of Africa and near to Europe. 3,000 years ago, a woman named Elisa was the founder and the first queen of Carthage. Carthage, a city in the country now known Tunisia. Tunisia is also an Arab Muslim country where status of women is determined by legal system. The Personal Status Code, which consists of a series of progressive Tunisian laws for women and family, promulgated in 1956, and it's considered as one of the best-known acts of the President Bourguiba. The Tunisian Revolution of 2011 marked the start of the Arab Spring, and so Tunisia held its first democratic election. Moreover, Tunisia has developed the most progressive constitution in the Arab world, which guarantees democracy, human rights, and equality. This is one of the most important things, equality between men and women. Democracy requires also a respect of pluralism. Tunisia succeed his political transition. It has been governed by consensus, unity, and dialogue. It has learned the most difficult lesson, how to be inclusive and how to be compromise. The model of partnership between those labeled in one side as modernistas and those labeled as Islamistas sends an important message to the world that dialogue is a key. Today, we are confident that this consensus model will also help us to overcome our current challenges, in particular, economy and security. Next year, Dr. Harbil, we plan to organize together a regional women economic forum in Tunisia. Then you are welcome. You are all invited to be there and to know more about Tunisia. Now, I would also like to address one question I have been often asked. Why did a woman with a stable situation and choose to enter politics, joining first the parliament and then the government and now the CEO of one of the big financial institutions? I said to myself that as a woman, I have a responsibility to do my best to contribute building a more equal society. I strongly believe that women cannot just improve the fate of women, but the fate of the whole world. Women not need to be the head of big institutions or companies. They can do it in their own circle, whatever they do. I'm defending the idea of bringing the woman to the economy by opening to the job market and by making sure that women have equal standing in the workforce. The economy can gain massively. I have tried to follow few simple rules. Serve a project, a vision, or an ambition that is bigger than yourself. Every day, you have to prove yourself and move forward and challenge yourself. Finally, my message addressed to all women: believe in yourself, own your own success, and never give up. Thank you.
Presenting that uniquely distinctive Tunisian perspective, and for being an ambassador of Tunisia, for being a woman ambassador of Tunisia at the Women Economic Forum. Without you, this doesn't happen. Thank you so much. Beautiful colors, beautiful diversity. And when I speak of colors, obviously I'm going to call on Riitta Palmen to speak with us. She's an investment banker and the founding partner of Palmen and Charpentier, coming from Finland with the Finnish flag. Woohoo! Welcome.
Dear sisters, dear brothers, I took the privilege to bring me the flag to honor my home country, whose independence has the 100-year birth year this year, 2017. So, hooray, Finland. I work as, I often say I'm a doctor for companies. The doctor who analyzes figures, calculates cash flows, gives the diagnosis, and then gives the medicine. So this is what I do for a living, already 16 years as an entrepreneur. I also invest in companies. I think I have 40 companies in the portfolio to support, encourage, to help them grow and flourish. I would like to thank Dr. Harbin for having me here. This is the first time ever I attend in a conference like this. I just found myself being a very, very domestic Finnish person. My life is almost completely in Helsinki. So for me, this has been an amazing 3 days with, I'm truly grateful and thankful. I thought I could share with you a personal revelation and an aha thought that I have gained during my almost 30 years in finance, in business development, strategy and management consulting. I have a master's degree in finance, and the core dogma of finance is basically the maximizing of the shareholder value. This is what we do. We maximize the shareholder value. Recently, I opened my eyes and realized that I no longer want to maximize anything. What I want to do is I want to co-create value, economical value added. I want to do it in cooperation, in partnership with good people, with high integrity, with good plans, good intentions. Then whatever comes out, I want to see that all the stakeholders of the companies, and by stakeholders I mean employees, suppliers, service providers, customers, the state, fellow citizens, organizations. I want to see that all these stakeholders are guaranteed adequacy. So no maximizing, but guaranteeing adequacy and sharing. I believe in win-win. I don't believe in win-lose in anything. And this is how I changed my thinking, my work, and everything I do in business and in private life. So, thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing with us. Win-win it is. I call on Susanne Swanikar-Tete, coming all the way from Botswana. Let's give her a warm round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Susan, and I'm the Chief Financial Officer of Okavango Diamond Company, a company that was set up by the government of Botswana so that it could trade a portion of its own diamonds. If you know anything about Botswana, you'll know that it's a country that sells the biggest, by value, diamonds in the world. And actually 40% of our sales is actually to India. So we have a lot of business with India. But I'd like to share with you my personal story of how I got there. And as a start, I'd like to dedicate this to my mother, who has traveled with my sister and I from Ghana to be with us here today. My father died when I was 18. And at that stage, we were still in high school. And my mother had 4 of us to take through school. And how she did it was indeed a miracle. But let me go back a little bit earlier, and to when I was in my high school. At that stage, due to subject choices, I had to take up accounting in my final year of high school. And it was my mother who suggested that I do this. But in order for me to catch up with the rest of the school, I had to go to college in the evenings, after school, so that I could do extra classes. So what I started to do was, during the day I would go to school, and evening I would go to college. It was very difficult, because as an African child, you were still expected to make sure that you helped with your home chores. And I remember having to come home from high school, then have to go and cook for the next day, and then have to go to school in the evening. And there were many times that I actually burnt a lot of meat because I'd be studying or trying to do my homework before going back to school in the evening. But that was a very important lesson because it taught me how to multitask. And that is something I found very useful and I still count on today. I find myself very easily able to manage to do a number of things. So, as I mentioned earlier, my sisters come from Ghana. My parents originally came from Ghana. So when I finished school, I had to go back to Ghana, and the intention was to go to university. Unfortunately, that year, due to a backlog of intake, I was asked to go and do my national service, and I couldn't get acceptance into university. It was something that I couldn't do, and with my mother, we decided that I should try and see if I could start my accounting articles. Fortunately, I was introduced to a few people, and I managed to get myself into Deloitte, and I started work there. I worked there for 10 years, and then at the age of 23, I became a chartered accountant, and at that age, I was the youngest chartered accountant in Ghana. I relocated to Botswana, and after many years at Deloitte, I joined the biggest sector, which is the mining industry. And being in a mining industry is actually a very male-dominated world. But what I learned was that I shouldn't try and compete with the men. I had to find my own way of doing things. And, you know, sometimes you've been in a room full of men who have come from underground, who are dirty, and they look at you, you're coming in from an office, you're clean, and they think that they've been the one doing all the work and you're just sitting in a nice, clean office. So when you talk, they tend to disregard you, they tend to look down on you. Who are you as a woman sitting in an office, and who do you think you are telling me what I should do? But what I found was that I shouldn't try and compete with them. I started finding my own way of doing it. And I realized that, yes, they could talk, but at the end of the day, I had the power of the pen. I could sign off on what they wanted. So if they wouldn't do what I wanted, I just wouldn't sign that piece of paper until they did what I wanted. And I also found out that I shouldn't try and compete with them, because most of the time, if you know how a mining environment works, after work, all the men go to the bar, or to the clubhouse, or to the golf club. And they'll be sitting there and making all these deals. So by the time they come into the office, they've already agreed on the way forward. And no matter what you say, they can't change. So what I started doing was I realized that for me to get to what I want, I needed to divide them. And I would do this by going to them one-on-one. And as a woman, when you talk to a man one-on-one, they tend to listen to you. But as a group, they become men and become stubborn. So what I realized I would do was every time I wanted something changed, I would make sure that I would go to each man, talk to them quietly on the side, and then when we get into a meeting, I would say, but you guys agreed. And I would always get what I wanted in the end. So what I learned from that was, as women, we have to find our own ways of doing things in a man's world. When the government decided to set up this diamond company, I was in another diamond company and I was approached to join this company to set up. It was a bit difficult because coming from the private sector, I found it difficult to move into a government sector. But I took that leap of faith and I did it. And today I'm glad that I've been part of history of trying to set up this in Botswana so that it benefits the economy as a whole. So we've learned this week about women. And all I can say is, as women, we are our own force. If we work together, we can take over the world. So let's do it. Thank you.
Thank you, Susan, for sharing your story. And not just breaking the glass ceiling, but bombarding through it. Thank you. We're going to watch a little video. Would you like? Okay, it's only 2 minutes, so we'll watch a video coming from our Tunisian counterpart. Surinder, please.
To be the first one. This is the place to be. To see clear. To be on the right path. To foresee future needs. To innovate. To be on the move always. To feel the entrepreneurial spirit. Everything becomes possible. Be leader always. Look for excellence. Build, move forward. Never stop. To love new challenges. To move around. New meetings, new people. To seize real opportunities. To be aware of potential. To keep on building. To thrive. To invest here. To make the right choices. To do everything to succeed. To invest in democracy. I've got new chapters to write.
Wow, for its size, it packs in a punch. Thank you for that video. It was very enlightening. And now we'd like to begin with our awards ceremony. I have with me our lovely Dr. Harbeen Arora to give away the awards. And I'd like to call on our first awardee this afternoon, Buthina Ben Yahlane from Tunisia. We congratulate you for being an iconic leader, creating a better world for all. Our next awardee is Susan Swanikar Teti from Botswana. Thank you, ladies. That was an absolutely delightful discussion. And with that, we'd like to begin our next session. We already have our distinguished speakers for the afternoon. This is a very unique conversation where we're talking about the New Zealand story. So it's my pleasure to call on stage apologies. I invite on stage Her Excellency Ms. Johanna Kempers from the High Commission of New Zealand, extending a very warm welcome to you this afternoon, ma'am. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give Her Excellency a warm round of applause. Inviting Penny Simmons, the CEO of the Southern Institute of Technology from New Zealand. Calling on Anu Sharma, the CEO and founder of I Am Woman from New Zealand. I'm going to call on, I'm not letting Anu sit. Anu, over to you.
Kia ora and namaste, everyone. So it's a pleasure this afternoon to bring to you the New Zealand story. And who better to tell our story than our very own High Commissioner of New Zealand in India. So we're very honored. We have a delegation from New Zealand. The ladies sitting up there, please give us a wave. And there's some of us in other sessions, and our High Commissioner has been very kind to come and support us this afternoon and tell the New Zealand story. So without much ado, I'd like to call on Her Excellency to take it away with the New Zealand story.
Tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou, tēnā koutou katoa, namaskar. Thank you for inviting me to speak today at the Women Economic Forum. This forum is increasingly being recognised as a major event for women business leaders and entrepreneurs from across the world, and I am honoured to be here as a New Zealand representative. This session is dedicated to New Zealand. For those of you who have not been to New Zealand, or who don't know much about New Zealand, I hope that it will be an inspiring introduction. For those of you who are more familiar with us, it is a chance to reflect on how New Zealand positions itself in the world and how you can help us to tell our story. I'm going to begin by showing a short video, which is called The New Zealand Story. Music, please.
Welcome to the country of open spaces. Where nature bursts and flows. Where the elements come alive. Where there is room to breathe and places to find. Welcome to the country of open hearts. Where care for the land and people is genuine. Where trust forms lasting partnerships. Where strangers are treated as friends. And memories are treasured forever. Welcome to the country of open minds. Where learning is embraced and opinions valued. Where nature inspires incredible thinking. Where ingenuity drives design and innovation. Where big ideas are born every day and new technologies are perfected.